Welcome to another episode of Our Opinion, where we focus on positive vibes, unity, and empowering people. My name is Tamika.
I'm Rosalind.
And I'm Kim.
And today our conversation is going to be focused on parenting. As we all know, everybody parenting is different. And it doesn't make it a right or wrong, but definitely everybody, I think it's fair to say everybody parents differently. So we're going to get off into basically how sometimes parents choose to be friends with their children. Sometimes it can happen, but sometimes it goes too far. You know, what do you guys think? In my opinion, just as far as that's concerned, it's a fine line. I mean, I don't have a full-blown teenager, but, you know, she'll be 14, and I really want to be her friend, but I want to be her parent first. And I do feel like, you know, we do have certain conversations, and within those conversations, I feel like I'm a friend. But then I feel like sometimes with her response, I want to kind of flip it and be like, hold on now, I ain't your friend, I'm your mother. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, and this is just me, I feel like I make it confusing. I see where I make it confusing, if that makes sense, right? Mm-hmm. So I have to be the one to not make it confusing. I mean, I don't know. It's a very touchy thing for me. I want us to be cool, but I want to be her parent. You know, she definitely respects me for sure, because I'm not going to have it no other way. However, when she does talk to me about certain things, I do find myself saying, well, okay, hold on now, that's a little too much. So it makes it as if I put it back to her when she don't know, like I'm guiding this, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, and I think sometimes I confuse her. So she could be like, oh, well, I didn't think I couldn't say that, you know, type of deal. So, you know, how does that work? Like, how does that work for you? Because I know you have a daughter.
Well, let me say this before I get started. All my children are grown now. I have a 31-year-old, a 27-year-old. I have a 28-year-old. Well, he's 29 now. And I have a 22-year-old. Mm-hmm. So I do want to say this. Forgive me if I'm putting some of y'all business out there. But I can only speak on what I know and from experience of how I raised my own children.
Personal experience.
So my daughter, I have 3 sons and 1 daughter. So for me, I felt like I'm always going to be a parent. I'm a parent first. But of course, I was my children's friends too. I was a teen mom, and we're going to get into that segment also. But I was a teen mom. So Terry and I are like 17 years apart, 16, 17 years apart. My oldest son and myself, we are. So I remember him coming to me. And I think he was like 15, and he was telling me that he was having wet dreams. And I feel because I'm open and honest with him, and I've always been, and we've been on this friend, I'm a parent first, don't get me wrong, but we was on a friendship level also. Mm-hmm. Not a friendship level where they can do things. My children don't cuss around me now, and they still grown. It's a lot of things they don't do around me now, and they're grown. They're full grown. They have jobs, careers, everything. They're grown. They're out of the house. They're fully grown. No one is in the house with me. And they still give me the utmost respect. But I was mom. I'm always mom first, but I wanted to be their friend also, so they don't be scared to come to me for anything. And when he came to me and said something about this wet dream, I was baffled for one thing, because I didn't know what to tell him. But on the other hand, I was like, oh, he coming to me, he can say anything to me. Although I don't even know what to say to him.
Yeah, mm-hmm. But it made you feel comfortable.
It made you feel good.
Yes, and I didn't know what to say to him. So at the time, he was 15. I believe I was with Ashley's dad then. My ex that's deceased. And I was like, well, you're going to have to ask such. Because I don't know what to tell you. You're a guy, so I can't give you that information. And he was like, well, you said we can come to you for anything. And I said, and I'm glad you did. But I don't know what to tell you about that. You know what I'm saying? So I think being a friend to your children, it's a difference, but being a friend and you kicking it and you going and hang out together and you letting your children have other children over and you partying with your children and stuff like that. But being a friend is just being a friend, just making them
Being
comfortable
there.
enough where they won't be scared to come to you. Because sometimes children are scared to go to their parents because you a parent, but you kind of like standoffish also, and you scare them in a sense.
Right.
I think my children feared me as far as I was very strict, although I was a friend. I'm still strict mom, but they weren't scared to come to me about stuff. Don't get me wrong. I know I'm not crazy. I know they didn't tell me everything.
Yeah.
But majority of the things that they thought they needed to tell me that was serious, they would come to me, and I wouldn't have a problem with it. And I was glad they did.
How were you? Could you go back to when you were young and how you felt perhaps about going to your mom and talking to her about certain things? Like, did you feel comfortable?
I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't. We weren't raised that way. I mean, my mom, she was who she was, and we were who we were. I mean, even now today, I want to tell you, I didn't start drinking in front of my parents until probably 10 to 12 years ago.
Yeah.
At the
Same
most.
here.
I have never smoked a cigarette in front of my parents, and I smoked for probably 30 years.
Yeah.
That's our generation.
Yes.
Yes.
I
And that's what I
and
was gonna say.
marijuana or anything like that, that was definitely out of the
no.
question.
Yeah, like
I
you
mean, and
mix
that was
that.
that was just, our parents going back to saying, we don't party with y'all like that.
Yeah.
And even right now today, if my mother is having a party or something like that, we all grown. I'm damn near 50. And
They'll tell us
there's
no
kids.
kids.
No kids. Y'all can't come.
We are still considered at times the kids
Kids.
because
Oh,
whatever
wow.
they may want to do, they don't want to do in front of us still. So it's still the same
Thing.
setup.
It's still the
Oh,
same.
wow.
And now that we, like, sometimes we do go to some things.
Yeah.
We do go to some things. And when we do go, now I see with how they act versus how we act or how we would perceive them to act. 9 times out of 10, we don't even want to go.
Right.
we don't
wanna go.
We don't want to go. We don't want to go. We don't want to be with your friends.
We don't want to none of
We don't
that.
want to do none of that. But just to say, I mean, personally, the friend and parent thing, I have had friends whose parents smoked with them, smoked with us. I mean, and they turned out to be just fine. It's nothing really wrong with it. And it's not to say that it can't be successful because, again, these people turned out to be okay. But in my understanding with that, you just, no, there's a fine line between that.
And that's the thing. And
It's a fine line
knowing
between
how to ride that line because it's true. It's just such a fine line. And a lot of times people will say today, like you said, like that was in our day. And it is. It's a different day now. So raising your children now, it's a different day, but we still have that same mentality, because I'm one who really feel like that. And it's not even much I do, but like partying with my kid and all that, no, I feel like I'll still be the same way. Like we wouldn't do that until she turned about 25, 30.
But see, that's the thing too. It all depends on it's a level of respect.
Yes.
Because my daughter is my Rolly. Ashley, no. Anybody that know me and they see me, it's always me and my daughter. And my daughter is 27 years old. But I don't smoke at all.
Right.
But my daughter and I are not going to smoke together. We'll have a glass of wine together.
Well, yeah, she's young,
she's
and I mean,
27
we
years
do that,
old.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we kick it together all the time. She takes me to brunch every Sunday after church, and we do a lot of things together. That's actually like my Rolly outside of my best friend.
Yes. Yeah.
But if I'm not with Ashley, if I'm not with my best friend, I'm with my daughter Ashley. But I don't see nothing wrong with it, even as her being a teenager. Because at the end of the day, I was mommy first. But I want her to be able to come to me about anything. I don't want her telling somebody else's parents or her friends or her sneaking and doing this and that because
Right.
she's scared to come to me because I'm so
Uptight as a parent.
not only uptight, but just Standoffish, judgmental. Like,
Right.
who am I to judge? I was a teen mom. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And the things that I do or I did when I was a teen mom, or when I was married when I was 17 years old. I don't want my children to follow in my footsteps, but I'm not going to hide anything from them, because my thing with that is, why would I hide something from y'all? I'm going to tell y'all what I did so y'all won't have to do it.
Correct.
Because you learn what to do and what not to do. You don't have to do exactly
What I did.
you know, what somebody did, whether it's wrong or whether it's right. You
Right.
make your own decision on, okay, she did this and she did that, you know, do I want to follow in that footstep? But I don't hide anything from my children. They know everything I did from the time where I was, and I don't want to say a certain age, when I started having sex. They know this. They know when I got pregnant, you know, what age I was when I got pregnant. They know everything.
Right.
And I tell them everything, and I share everything with them, because I don't want them to make the same mistakes. And I'm letting them know too, if you do something wrong, I'm not going to be judgmental. Who am I to judge?
And I guess that'll also go then, we kind of touched on a few things. We touched on like the teen pregnancy a little bit, and I think we also touched on communication a little bit, right? Because that's all about communicating with your children. I know, again, just going back to me, like for me, everything is a first time, you right? Like I only have one shot because I only have one kid. So
Right.
every
that
move
makes
she
sense.
makes,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, it's a first time for me as a parent, you know. So it's all about trying to think of it just like that, like you got one shot, you know what I'm saying. And a lot of times you'll feel like, well, you only got one shot, and how your kid turned out is kind of like a reflection of you.
Oh, definitely.
And see, and I don't know that all the way now. I used to feel that way. But now, because I've seen two different sides of that. You know, I've seen where it was two parents did everything right for their kids, you know, taught them the right ways and paid for them to go to school, and they would have been set up and had everything that they needed, but didn't turn out right. You know, whether it was drugs that got them, whatever, gave their parents the blues.
Right.
I know this for a fact. And those parents will beat themselves up. But you did everything that you could. And in that instance, for me, that's not a reflection. When you've
When
done
you've
the
done
best
everything
that
that
you
you
could
can.
do. So that's what made me not think of that anymore in that sense. Because I was definitely one who was always like, hey, however you turn out, that's a reflection of me. But no, it's not. I'm going to set you up. And how you turn out is how you turn out.
Exactly, because
So I'm done with that
9 times out of 10, and I just believe this, 9 times out of 10, you know, if you have 3 or 4 children, everybody is not going to be, you know, the perfect child.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're not going to have a perfect child anyway, but somebody's going to be doing something wrong, even if you don't even know if they're doing something
Right.
wrong. But when you
Yes.
have one child, it's a little different. Like you said, you
Yeah.
only got one shot.
One shot.
Like even with my youngest child, like and we just had this conversation. We had this conversation all the time, but we were just sitting in the car before I even came in here. We had this conversation about him, you know, with his brother, you know, not my oldest son, but my middle child. And he was like, I saw stuff that Terrence did. I saw this. And I said to myself, you know, do I want to, you know, follow in his footsteps, or am I going to do this, or am I going to do that? So when you have younger siblings, they see what's going on. They see the whoopings that person got. They see, you know what I'm saying? Even if they say, well, I'm going to be slicker, you know what I'm saying, and still do stuff they don't have no business doing, they still watching
What's
the
going on.
What's
older
going on.
sibling, and they're watching what's going on. So, you know.
So you have a chance. The what the youngest see that the older ones do or get away with, they're gonna try it. Or, you know, whatever they may try, you know, you had 2 other ones, they done already tried it, so then the younger one don't have a chance, you know.
Yeah.
So it really goes both ways in that sense. But again, when you come down to that one, you only have one shot. You know, you don't have, you know, it's no manual that
Right.
come with parenting. And that's why I kind of got off of that too, because it's different times and different parenting styles. You can't just pinpoint. So let me ask this. So like going back to the friendship thing, because it's still just such a fine line with me. So I knew of a couple parents actually that kind of felt like, hey, I know my kids do certain things, you know, and these are older kids, but still, they're like teenagers though. I think they at the time were under 18, right? So they either drank, and it was mainly guys, I will say that, but they either drank or they smoked and all this stuff. And so the parent would know, and they would feel like, you know what, you're going to do it anyway. So because you're going to do it anyway, I'd rather you do it here in the basement where I know you safe and I can sleep at night. True story. So, and I know for a fact that some parents like that. And that's just one parenting style, but that's a style that I totally disagree with. And that's why I'm saying, like, because I feel like at that point, that child is all like, oh, my parents, they cool, and that's how they used to feel. And everybody would come over to the house, and that was the spot, and all this and that. And I feel like, and see, you say it's disrespectful, but why? The parent is saying it's okay. But who's being disrespected?
The parent is wrong. I just feel like the parent is wrong, and the child doing what the parent is allowing the child.
Correct.
I'm not even blaming the child.
So it's not disrespectful.
The parent is wrong, and I think the parent is being disrespectful. You can't, although your child is doing, that's just like, Ashley or coming to me saying, well, Mom, I'm having sex, so I'm okay, well, I know you having sex, so you can have sex in my, no, that's not about to happen. It's a line. When I say, just because you say you're friends with your children, doesn't mean that y'all gonna do stuff that you don't have any business doing, rolling with your children with as an adolescent. That is just totally disrespectful. Just like it's disrespectful to me, and I don't know how this generation is, but to call a parent by their first name, that's just like a child saying, Rosalind or Tamika.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's disrespectful. Some things
but this is what we're talking about. Times are changing. And then, it was another instance where I seen, and we've all done this too, like when you're kids, you do little things when you're together that you probably wouldn't do in front of your parents. But, I can also remember back in the day, like if we were doing a little something or talking a certain way and like an elderly person walked past, we'd kind of watch what we saying. Now, my grandmother, I could remember taking her to the little grocery store at the corner of her street, and these guys was walking with some girls, and they just cussing away. You think they cared that it was an 85-year-old lady sitting right there? Times are changing, and some would say that we should change with the times. And I think certain things, maybe, but I do believe old concepts keep order or structure. Some people are getting away from order. They say, times is changing, things are evolving, so that's why I just thought it was very interesting to talk about, parenting and the different styles and what one would allow their children to do today, because it's just a different day.
Can I just say this, and then I'm going to let you talk, Kim. What my thing is, it's a role to everybody has a role. The father has a role. Exactly. The mom has a role, and the child has a role.
That's right.
At the end of the day, everybody needs to know their role. When I say being friends with your children, I don't mean kicking it with your children, doing drugs with your children, drinking with your children and stuff like that. I'm saying, like, I would lay in Ashley's bed and we would have a pajama party together. Mm-hmm. She would have her friends over to the house, and we would have all of us, and I'll be in the bed with the kids and rolling around and painting the nails and sitting in her little beauty. She had like a little beauty salon chair, and I set my big butt in this little bitty chair, and I mean playing with my children, being my child's friend.
Yes.
Because she had 3 brothers and she was the only girl, so I'm her friend until her other friends come over. Right. But all this other stuff, this grown folk stuff, that's grown folk stuff, to be drinking and smoking and having sex and stuff like that. That's not a child. When I say friends with your child, I mean a level of child and parent friendship.
Correct.
Exactly. I don't mean parent and you ain't even a parent, but we gonna do this like the parents.
Right.
No. That's not what I mean.
And it does. It boils down to respect. And just knowing that fine line. And it's one, like I said, I'm being honest, I struggle with. And it's not in a bad way, because we're not even all the way that deep yet. Like, we are friends, you know what I'm saying? And I have spoke with her on so many levels. Like I said, entering into that preteen or teenage world, you know what I'm saying? There's so many things that girls her age is doing that she's not. Mm-hmm. But I'm aware of that, right? Mm-hmm. We was that age. Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, now it's time for me to start talking to her. Hey, what's going on? are there things your friends are doing? And she was open and honest with me. You know, I asked her certain things like, what have you done? You know, kids always want to tell you what other kids doing, but what you doing? And so, right, and she was honest with me.
You got to deflect.
That's right. And she was honest. You know, and she's told me what she's done, you know. So with that being said, just trying to guide her, you know, explaining to her, you know how it is. These girls will be telling you stuff and they don't even know.
The main thing is communicating with your child.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, if you communicate with your child is going to communicate back with you. And not only that, I want to say this also. Like, as they're growing up into adults and they come into adulthood, because like I said, my daughter is grown now, it's going to be so much easier for y'all to really be good friends now. You know what I'm saying? Because she wasn't scared to talk to you when she was young, and now she's grown and she's not scared to talk to you. You have some parents where they don't even talk to their child about everything is taboo. You breathe, somebody breathed on you, you're going to get pregnant. You're lying to your child.
Right.
You know, I don't do that. I'm not going to lie to my child. I'm going to tell you how this is going to happen, what's going to happen.
That's right.
The repercussions are behind everything. I'm not about to lie to you and tell you if you do this, that'll happen. And I'm going to be open and honest with you. I'm going to be real with you. You know, because had my mom probably been real with me, I probably wouldn't have been a teen mom. Yeah. And I'm just being real.
Yeah, there you go. And you said the key thing, growing with your child.
Yes.
And that's hard. That's another hard one for me. But again, because I'm a first timer, right? And I guess I'll always be a first timer. You know, now that she'll be 14, it's like sometimes I feel like I'm talking to her like she's 11, you know, which is an issue that I have as, you know, a 40-year-old. You know what I'm saying? I'll be like talking to my mother like, listen here.
I believe it's communication and growing with your child. I just truly believe that. And it works for me. You know, I like I said, I was pregnant when I was 16. I had Terry when I was 17, and I had my first grandchild. Terry gave me my first grandchild when he was 30. Like, I easily could have been a statistic because I was a teen mom and a teen wife. But you know, my children looked at me and I was open and honest about everything, and I have one, and I'm not just, you know, I don't know if it just that has to do with it, but I look at that. I believe because I was open and honest with them and I shared with them things and I didn't keep stuff from them, and I, you know, they listened to me, you know, and I told them the truth. I didn't tell them. I'll never forget when Gregory, my youngest, was in school, and I was just tired by that time. So the three oldest one I was really, really strict on. By the time I got to the last one, and he's 5 years apart from Ashley, I was just tired. I'm not going to even lie. I just put some rubbers on his dresser, and I was just like, look, wrap it up. Don't come back here with no babies. I'm tired. Don't have me come back to the school. He was the last one. Yeah. And I was tired. I was going through something, going through a divorce. You know what I'm saying? I was going through some things, and he could have turned out any kind of way. But he turned out, he's a young man. He's doing his thing. Not wanting no kids or whatever. I never had to run up to the school for anything. He's in college. But I'm telling you, the last one, I was just like, I'm tired here.
I think that happens with majority of families, though. When they're especially like when there's more than one child, 2 and 3 kids. By the time you get to the last child, you just feel, you know.
And he turned out good, and I never had any problems out of him. But I'm telling you, I could have, and I probably would have blamed myself because I was tired.
Right.
But I didn't, because he told me, and one thing about everything, although I did say I put the rubbers on the dresser and was like blah blah blah, we always talk. One thing about my children and I, even when they're out of the house now, they call and check up on me to see what I'm doing, you know. I call and check up on them to see how their life is going. And we still communicate, and we're grown and they're out of the house. We've always communicated, and the main places where we communicate is when we're eating, when we're out at a restaurant or sitting at a table. When you took that away from households, when you can't sit down at a table as a family and talk to your children, that's where the communication came in at the kitchen table.
And you know what? And these cell phones.
People now sitting over here, sitting over there. There's somebody in their bedroom, somebody in the basement. Nobody is
together.
No togetherness anymore. I never took that out of my household, but somebody tried to take that out of my household, but I didn't take that out of my household.
Okay. So let's talk about teen moms a little bit more, which you've covered a lot of that, and that's your experience as far as teen moms. But I just feel like I know a couple teen moms, and the ones that I just can think of off the top of my head, one was a teen mom, and when it happened, she was just kind of like put her big girl panties on, you know what I'm saying? We going to parties and stuff. She couldn't. But she was okay with that, right? Mm-hmm. She was like, all right, I'm a teen mom. This is what I need to do. She had a good support system, so her mother was a good support system. It was like, okay, you're going to finish school. And she did. Mm-hmm. And her, and maybe it was her mother. Mm-hmm. And let me say that. Maybe it was her mother. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, this is what you did, right? We're not going to call it a mistake, but it's time for you to grow up. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not going to be in here babysitting every day, mm-hmm. right?
That's the truth.
And so it came to a point where we'll call her and stuff, and she'll be like, I can't go out tonight, whatever. And it's fair to say that we all drifted apart because mm-hmm. she was doing something different. She had to, that we weren't doing.
I can relate.
But then it was another one that I know of, still up in the club, right? Mother always stuck with the baby. You know what I'm saying? And so now I go back to maybe it was the mothers.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot, yes. But I think it's more of those kind of mothers and not enough of these type of mothers that's going to make you kind of like, this your responsibility, right? So, and in that case, every time you seen her, she out with everybody else. We're like, well, where you went with your baby? Time she'll be out in the streets with her baby in a stroller at night. And I even knew. I'm like, if I had a kid, I'm like, should your baby be in the bed?
But that's what I'm saying. Every teen, people, things happen.
It does.
Things happen. And if you want to go way, way back in the slavery days,
stuff happened. We're not saying that. We're just talking about what.
I know, but from my
you got to be responsible when things happen. But then I guess, like, if you don't know. You're right. So I guess I can go with that. Like if you weren't raised a certain way, that like if it just didn't kick in. Mm-hmm. Some people things kick in for, some things people it don't kick in. Or maybe you're a selfish person. Because when you having a kid young, you have to keep in mind. But you have to keep in mind your mentality. You're still young though.
So but if the child is immature. But and the child is immature.
But out here doing grown up things though. But you immature.
But you as the mother, that's just like you and your daughter. So if your daughter is out here doing it and you can't really stop that because she's gonna do it whether you want her to do it or not. But this is who she is, and she has a baby. She's still gonna be that person, or she gonna run off and still do what she does. So that still leaves you responsible for that child.
Because so many that be stuck where are you gonna taking do with them? Care of these grandbabies, for their children because they love their
drug addiction problems. That's anything. The mother, as the grandmother, the parent, whomever it is, at that point you got to pick up the slack. Because where I'm gonna let you see my grandbaby go to the shelter?
I know, but
I agree with that. Everything has to do with the mentality of the person too. Because when I had my child, my mom didn't have to tell me you gonna stay at home, blah blah blah. I was still in high school at the time too, so I still was going to school, and she was watching Terry while I was going to school, and I came home, but I couldn't do nothing else. I didn't want to do nothing else.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I've been with Terry's father since I was 14 years old. Mm-hmm. I'm not proud of it, but hey, that's what it was. Mm-hmm. So I didn't have other boyfriends, and I didn't do other things or whatever. So it was always me and this young man. But my mom was just like, basically, you're going to marry her. So basically, it was a shotgun wedding. That's what they say back in the day. But I didn't get married for love, or I didn't get married. I got married, my first husband, because I had the baby.
Right.
And he was a good provider, and he was a husband or whatever.
He tried. Y'all was young.
We were kids.
Y'all was young. How you gonna do?
Right. We're not gonna do that.
We were kids, right? He was 4 years older than me, but we were still children. You know what I'm saying? We were kids having kids or whatever. But my thing is, when I realized when I had my child, it's over. It's not over. Life is not over, but I can't be selfish anymore. I can't be selfish. It was all about. And I am.
And you're different. And not every child is going to be
and that's why we're saying, like, because it's like, you got the ones like you, that said, okay, this happened, I gotta step up. And you're saying your mom didn't make you. It
My
came
mom didn't make
naturally.
me, it came
But it's some
naturally.
other ones that'll just
It
sit
just don't do that.
and have these kids, and then it be their mother's responsibility to keep
Right.
having them, but they party and they
But
kick
let
it.
me tell you why they keep having children too. They keep having children because the mother do step up. Of course, she don't want that child out here just you taking
As
the
an
child from house to
enabler.
house, right?
She's being an
But
enabler.
when you do that, you really letting that child know. So you out there partying and stuff, and I'm gonna keep your baby. You want to have another? I'm gonna keep that baby too. So basically, it's like I don't even know. Like, you don't.
I don't know. I don't
you-
have kids, so I ain't messing around with nobody's children. I can't.
You really don't.
It's
I
really
mean,
sad to
I don't
me.
know if she's right
love
or wrong.
kids, but
I
I'm
don't
not
know
taking
if
care
she's right or wrong though, because you don't want your grandbaby out there just anybody watching them. But then you letting this child go back out there and do it again, but she keep doing it, and you keep watching these these
I'm
babies.
sorry. I'm about to
So
just
I
shoot
don't
straight
know.
from the
I
hip.
don't think
Yeah.
it's right.
I know.
I think that she
I talked
should
to my
make her
daughter.
stand.
That's right, because I'm not doing
needs
it.
to- yeah, she.
And I
needs
went
to
on
make
record.
You know,
child
that don't even
stand up.
run in my
I
family.
went
My
on
grandmother
record.
right now ain't gonna watch your child.
I'm
my
not doing
grandmother,
it.
she gonna be like, you better
Yeah.
go get that.
I'm
I
gonna
don't
love
think
my
it's right.
grandbaby,
Yeah, it's not
but
happening.
I raised mine, and you
Yeah.
will raise
That's
yours.
how it's supposed to
And
be.
I will be
honestly.
supportive, and that's my grandbaby, and I love my grandbaby. And the only way I would take my grandbaby like that,
If she's doing what she's
if
going
you
to work
really
and
just
going to school.
No. I'm
You got to
saying
be
if
messed up
you
in the game, baby.
were right, like if you were just really a bad mom and just really.
You got to really be messed up.
Now I'm just going to take the baby legally, whatever. It'll just be my responsibility, and then I'm done. You know, but I think because it's one person in particular that I'm really thinking about, and I just think she just got a bad hand dealt to her. You know what I'm saying? Period, point blank. And this is something that I know personally. You know, where her daughter just do whatever, but she knows she can. Because she loves her grandbaby, and she know that she won't let nothing happen to that grandbaby, but she does not help her with this grandbaby, and she still, you know, she don't have a life. She can't do nothing. She take care of her elderly mother, which already commits a lot of her time, and then she got this 7-year-old. Like, she can't do nothing. And I just think that but I also partially blame her. Because at no point did she really put her foot down and say, this is your child. This is your responsibility. And my thing is, do that first. You gotta step out on faith and do that first to see what they're gonna do.
And I think that the teenager that's getting pregnant or whatever, they kind of know what's going to happen before they have the child. They kind of know, ooh, my mom going to be mad. Ooh, my mom going to kill me. Ooh, my mom ain't going to watch this baby. Ooh, I got to step up. See, I knew my mother wasn't happy.
And they do though, because you done
My
already
mother-
instilled that. You done already had that
Right.
conversation about pregnancy, so they know out the gate, my
Right.
mother gonna kill me. But the thing about it is what changes with all of that is when the baby actually comes.
Yeah.
So it's all fine and it's all peachy keen while we're still in the thought process of a baby. But when the baby actually comes, then that's when those other feelings come into play. That's when your grandparent feelings come into play. And that's when you really know or really realize who your child actually is. Because up until
Yeah.
then,
Yeah.
that's
You
they
really
always
don't
been
know.
your baby. They
Yep.
just your baby.
Yeah,
So
but
at
now
that
they're
point, how do
grown
you know?
woman,
Right.
and now
Yeah,
they've
you're
come into
right.
womanhood, into
Yeah.
their own baby. Yes.
Yeah, and I would say this too, you're right, because I have a different type of feeling when it comes to my grandson.
All grandparents do. I
of
tell my
course-
mother right
of
now,
course,
she treats that girl better than me, and I'm your daughter.
I love my children and my grandson unconditionally, but it's a different type of love with my grandbaby. I just love him.
It is,
It
but the
is.
thing about it is y'all don't discipline the same. How come she don't get the same discipline I got when I
And
was a child?
grandparents, y'all do that.
They wrong for that.
My daughter in here dancing. I just want to let y'all know.
Yeah, what
Because
is
she
that?
know them grandparents.
So this is why I torture you, because it's not right.
It's
It
not.
is. That's because
But
we can
that's
love
love.
on them and send them back.
Is that what it
That's
is?
what it is.
Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
But because I don't even, my grandson stayed in another state. But when I see him I just light up, and when I do get to him and I go out, he can do whatever he want to do. I'm about to leave. I'm gonna let you do whatever. I'll be back. And Grandma gonna let you do what you want to do when she come back to.
I guess
I
that's
cannot
true.
with you guys.
That's just how it
It's a
goes.
different type of love. So
It is.
You're right, and you can say maybe some of the, the women can say, my mama gonna kill me, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. But then when the grandmother see the grandbaby, I don't know.
Yeah, it's something totally different. The feeling, all of that go out the window. To me, in certain cases. Now there are probably certain cases where you just have some people who just they probably didn't want to have their own children. So with that being said, they're just not that
Yeah, some
person.
people don't have motherly.
Yeah, some people just don't have that
That
motherly
love
instinct,
and
that
motherly
maternal
instincts,
instinct
yes,
like that.
they don't have that nurturing.
Yeah, so I mean, when they got pregnant, they dealt with it, they moved on, whatever. But now that their child has had a baby, now you got the option to say, look, that's your baby. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's your thing, whatever. But then again, it still could change too with them. You never know
So
what
is
melts a
it,
person's
dude?
heart.
So what is it? What advice would you give if you were to give any advice?
As far as
What?
As far as teen mom and being a teen mom,
I'm
what
gonna tell you, don't
advice-
do it, baby. I'm gonna tell you like I tell everybody. If you have a baby right now, understand your life is about to change, and I don't have no kids, so I'm not about to take care of yours.
Okay, so that's for her.
And
Right, and that makes sense, because that's her truth.
Right,
Now, that
right.
was me, right, because I actually have a daughter. Sorry.
It's okay.
So, I would basically, my advice to her, right here, right now, to you, is no, like, being pregnant right now is not the move. You know what I'm saying?
It's sure right.
For
'cause
me,
ain't none of your
it's not. I
family
mean,
members like
she's going to be 14 years old, right? She still has so much life ahead of her. Okay, and so many things that she still needs to do and complete, and she needs to be a teenager. If my advice to my daughter
No,
would be,
your advice to
or to all of them, yeah,
Yes.
not just to mine, but you know, I
Yes.
did go to mine for 2 seconds, but yes, to anybody. I'm keeping
When
it real.
you gonna start?
Anybody who's 14, yes, is to live your life. You know what I mean? You have so much life, you know, ahead of you. So many things that you can do and explore. You know, just think. You know, it's 14, then it's 15, then it's 16. You know, just things, road trips with your friends, and all these different things that just don't confine you. When you have a child at such a young age, you're confined. At that point, your life stops. So if it's my advice, is don't do it. But now I'll flip it. If it happens,
Okay.
right? I'll flip it. If it happens, this will be for my daughter or any other 14 and 15, however. Then my advice is, this is now what has happened. Basically, without saying you have to put your big girl panties on, life has now gotten so real that you're not even really ready for this realness. Mentally, you're not ready for it, but you've now put yourself in a position where you don't have a choice but to be ready. So now at this point, it's all about coaching you along the way. I would want my daughter to know that, or you know, I can't speak for, I only have her, but I would want her to know that I love you regardless. You know, I'm not going to, you know, shame my child. You know what I'm saying? I know my daughter, so you know, and I know mistakes can happen. I mean, I knew of a girl had sex first time and got pregnant. She wasn't, you know, like back in the day, you would think, oh, she
That
a
was
little,
me.
she a slut, or she this or she that. You know how girls would talk back in the day, and it don't necessarily have to be that. It could be your first time. So you never know. But if it happens, just like I said, put your big girl panties on, understand your responsibility, and understand that you will be a mother. Know that. So when your friends calling you, don't even look at me talking about, can I go to the movie? Can you watch the baby? No, ma'am. I'll watch the baby for you to go to school.
Exactly.
You know, this baby will have a roof because you're still my baby.
Exactly.
I'm still providing for you. So now I have to provide for you and your baby.
Right.
Right? So your baby will be safe. Your baby will have a place. And I will be a grandmother, and you will be a mother. I will watch your child for you to finish high school. And then at that point, you need to figure it out. If you decide to go to college, we'll see what we can work out. And hopefully, and I'm going to say this for her or anybody else, hopefully you don't got no deadbeat. Because at 14 years old, these little boys don't know what they doing either. They living at home with their mamas or daddies. So
hope their parents
therefore,
got some,
you gotta hope their
rules.
parents have the same morals as, as your parents, where we can all work this out collectively together. And then it could be successful. And then it could be a good, successful story for the next person.
Right.
So this segment, just to say too, is not to even shame teen moms. It was never that. It's just to talk about the pros and cons and the different types that there are. There are some teen moms, again, just to recap, that are great. Grew up good, clearly. It's so many. Raised their kids and they do a wonderful job. They just knew that they had to, step up.
Exactly.
And that's just that. And then you had the ones that was out here getting pregnant and they still wanted to party and kick it and didn't choose to all the way step up, which then in turn created possibly a problem or more of a burden for their mother, because that's not fair to their mother. And just, keeping the levels of communication open with our children, and growing with our children, which again, just putting myself out, I was so used to her being my baby and dressing her and making her hair the way I wanted to be and things like that. And then I had to start growing with her. She started growing. She started having an opinion. You know what I'm saying? And it was a struggle for me because I'm like, oh, you're not supposed to have no opinion, right? But this is why I'm saying that conflict with me, with her being a first-time mom. Because it's like, it would be like with me, I don't want you to have an opinion. But with somebody else, oh, you better have an opinion. You don't let nobody tell you what to do. But, it's what I'm creating, right? I'm trying to be real. It's what I'm creating. I want her to dress the way I want her to dress and do this and do that. And she like, Ma, no, I don't want to wear that. Or I don't want my hair like this. Or whatever. So you have to grow with your children, which is a struggle. It has been a struggle for me, but I'm getting better because I don't know what I'm gonna do when the girl turns 16 and start
Give
driving.
up your car.
I know.
That's it. Drop them keys. That's what you're gonna do.
I know.
That's what's gonna happen.
I know. So that just just a recap and right, and then the parenting and I guess we talked about with our parents certain things that we just still don't do even today. Right. But then, it's still kind of like some parents feel like, hey, let them drink. They in the house, I don't want them drinking on the streets, driving, DUIs, kill themselves. Since they here, let them do it. I mean, are they bad parents for that? Like,
no, but you going to jail.
I mean, but it's not my parenting style. My thing is,
and God forbid something happened to somebody's child after they had left your house and been drinking.
Right.
You're going to jail.
Right.
And it's not your kids don't have no mother or father.
And I want to be friends, right? I'm with you. I want to be friends with my daughter too.
That's not being friends. That's setting your child up to be an alcoholic or
right.
Else.
No, not that. I ain't doing that.
I mean, maybe not. I'm not gonna say that because, like I said, I know people that were raised and their parents smoked with them and drank with them. And granted, it wasn't. They themselves as parents may have had some type of issue that led them to be like that, or maybe they just thought it was okay. But
that's disrespectful.
It could very well be, but I'm not, even now as an adult, I'm not in a position to judge you. The only thing that I can do is tell you that if one of these babies leave your house and been drinking and smoking and the police pull them over and they tell where they been, the police come to get you. That's the only thing I can tell you. And after that, if you choose to continue to let children come over your house and drink and smoke, then that's your business, and I'll write you a letter.
See, and I don't think it's disrespectful. I don't agree with it. It's not what I would do. The only reason why I say it's not disrespectful is because everybody's in the know. Where is it disrespectful? Now, if it was me, it would be disrespectful because my daughter know I'm not going for that. So if I come to my house and everybody doing that, now you have disrespected me in our home because I'm totally against this. But those parents were not against it. They were for it. They rather their children be in the house doing whatever they were doing where they could be watched and they were safe and they weren't out in the streets. That was their choice.
Well, in my opinion, I just think it's wrong. I just don't think that's good parenting at all. And to each his own, because I do know some people like that, and actually, I have some family members that's like that. Yeah. And my children was not going over there because I knew what they were doing, and that's another thing too. If I know what you doing, no, don't even call.
Because if they're going to let their kids do it, they definitely not going to not let your children do it.
They do have, cousins, that they parents let them do exactly what y'all saying, and I wasn't for it, so I didn't want to judge
that
them.
my parents didn't know what they parents did. You know what I mean?
And that's
They
the
don't
thing.
know.
You
They
don't
don't know
know.
what they you don't know what their parents are doing, because those friends, you know, the parents most of the time,
Don't
those
even know.
parents will play along.
But see, that's why
And that's
I
the
never
thing.
let my children go over to no one's house. Ashley can have company to spend the night over my house, her girl, but no, was she spending the night over? The only people how she spent the night over was my sister-in-law at the time, Kim. And Pooh and Rachel, they was like her cousins, but they were like her sisters that she wish she had. But other than that, no, you coming over to my house because I don't know what's going on in your house. I don't know if you got a gun in your house. I don't know if you got men. I don't know what's going on. So my daughter could never come to me and be like, Mommy, can I say? I used to tell her, don't ask me, don't touch nothing in the grocery store, don't ask me for nothing, don't ask me, can you spend the night over nobody's house? It was a whole lot of rules that, you know, that they knew what not to ask me. Don't ask me, don't ask me, can you go with her? No, don't ask me. Don't get embarrassed in front of somebody, because you know, I'm telling you now, don't ask me, because if you ask me, I'm about to check you in front of them. So if you don't want me to embarrass you, don't ask me.
Yeah, we all got to do that with our kids, because they will still try you.
What's wrong with you?
I'm just saying. But it's true. And they try you. They try you. But we know. We just know as parents. Like, you know. So anyway,
I love being a mother though, more than anything in the world. I absolutely love being a mother, and I loved growing up with my children. Would I did it all over again being a teen mom? Honestly, no. I loved growing up with my children. I really did. Now I'm a grandma and I'm still young. I'm not giving anybody any advice to do this, but I would not, if I had to do it all over again, I would not change anything. Even all the mistakes that I made.
But that's
Well, you're gonna make them regardless.
That's good.
You're gonna make those
That is
mistakes
good.
and learn and all that stuff.
Yeah, I would not.
Definitely.
I love all four of my children. They make mistakes, they do things, we all do, and it's a learning process, but I wouldn't say, well, if I can do it over again and I would have been a teen mom, I wouldn't have been, no. I just can't imagine me not going through what I went through to get where I'm at today.
got you. I guess in closing, for me, what I've learned thus far with being a parent is, just like I said, I wouldn't change any, well, no, I'm telling a story. I would change some things. Just really making sure that I grow with her. I want to grow with her, you know. And then I want to, be more open. You know what I'm saying? I do want to be more open. I do feel like, and maybe this does come from our parenting, like the way our parents parent, where like, because it is still that way where we do keep things separate and all that. And even to this day, certain things are separate. But just really wanting to, make sure I can keep things open. I want her to be able to talk to me and me be honest about certain things in my past. It's still some things about me she don't know. But but it's that thing, like I feel like, well, that's back in the day, that's something we shouldn't have to really talk about, but it could be something beneficial to her life. So those are the things that I feel like I want to work on. I'm not a perfect parent, so
No, we're not. If parenting do not come with the manual at all, it does. And even with Kim, you not even having children, you still kind of you parent other people's children when you around your nieces and your nieces and nephews.
Yeah, just tell them what they supposed to do. I don't parent nobody, because that's not my child. But what I will tell you is I make it easier for you to be able to come and talk to me. If you can't talk to her, you can tell me. And like I tell my niece, there are some things that I'm not going to tell. We have there is a confidentiality agreement with certain things which you tell me I will never repeat. But then there are some things that I am going to tell, and I'm going to let you know what those things are. So I mean, as far as that goes, that's just
And
my
that goes back
spiel
with
is-
the take a
Yeah.
village to raise a child. You
Yeah,
know, because
that's
you
it.
want that child to be able to talk to somebody that they can trust and
Exactly.
not some outsider that's manipulating them.
Correct.
Exactly. All right, so thank you again, everybody, for choosing and watching our opinion today as we talked about parenting. And like I was trying to get at during the show, you know, is we just got to keep the lines of communication open with our kids. We have to remember that at one time, that was us. We also have to always remember that 9 times out of 10, we were probably worse than they are now. So with that being said, keep your communication open, talk to your children, and you know, just be there for them the best that you can.
Yes.
If we do have a teen pregnancy issue, the only thing I can do is pray for you and just hope that, you know, you're able to survive that. And like I said previous to this, you know, in previous conversations, if I see your kids out there acting crazy, then I'll get a belt to them. But other than that, I just want to tell you thank you again for your support. God bless you all. See you in 2 weeks.